Got some breaking news coming into the newsroom. The FBI says dozens of people have been charged in connection with rigging college basketball and Chinese Basketball Association games. Let's bring in CBS News Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane. So, Scott, what are you learning?
Vlad, I'm going to tell you, this is a pretty remarkable case we're working our way through. A press conference is expected at 11 a.m. in Philadelphia to detail it. But based on what we're seeing on the 70-page charging document, players at some name-brand major college basketball programs have been bribed, allegedly, to tank their performances to enrich sports gamblers. These are some rather large school programs in which this is allegedly happening, from the Big East, schools like St. John's and DePaul and Georgetown, to Conference USA and other major conferences, schools like Tulane, Western Michigan, McNeese State, Nichols State. According to the charging documents, some of the alleged schemers, including some former college players, were getting to current college players and bribing them to take a dive or to dial back their performance, to in fact shave points so that the bettors could capitalize on betting the point spreads in the games. These charging documents actually list specific games in which this happened and specific players accused of taking a dive. This could be remarkably injurious to college basketball if the allegations are true. And we'll hear more of the allegations when the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania has a news conference at the top of the hour.
And Scott, we were playing some video for our viewers as well as you were breaking that story. I just want to clarify for folks who are watching that we don't actually know at this point in time those specific players who are involved in the lawsuit. So you might have seen some B-roll that doesn't necessarily reflect the litigation that's ongoing. But I do want to ask how the FBI was alerted to this and how far back do they believe this goes?
Yeah, and I'll double down on that. The footage we showed is of the teams. The players shown in the footage were not the players named in this charging document, but it is indicative of the program and of the scope and size of college basketball, which is a very televised, very big business in America. We don't yet know the sources of all the information the feds have here, but I can tell you they have a lot of information. They have granularly detailed the dates and teams and scores of the games they're alleging were fixed here. Yes, there's a component of this that involves the Chinese Basketball Association, where one of the alleged bribers and schemers once played. But a lot of this is about college basketball games in the United States, a multi-billion-dollar business, which culminates each year with March Madness, a national phenomenon. They're alleging here that games involving teams like St. John's and Georgetown and DePaul had adverse effects on the games themselves because of bets made by bribers. It's a big thing, and I think ultimately we'll have to hear from college basketball and the NCAA before the day's over, too. They're going to want to be heard on this.
And so, Scott, I mean, some of the games that were involved and teams that were involved, there's some really big names. I mean, we're talking Western Michigan University, Butler, St. John, Tulane, East Carolina, McNeese State.
That's right.
Duquesne, LaSalle, Fordham, SUNY Buffalo, Kent State, Ohio, Georgetown, of all, one of the most storied franchises in college basketball.
And let me emphasize two different things about that, Vlad. First of all, for those who aren't well-versed in college basketball is the rare American sport where every small team has an impact on the overall sport. They have a tournament at the end of the year called March Madness, where small schools play big schools, and a small school can become the story of the nation and can impact who wins the title. This is a sport that is inclusive. Every game and every team has an impact on the final result, making point shaving even more impactful. What's more, let me just read an excerpt from one of the charges here. A game in Nichols State. They're alleging that two players were gotten to and were impacted by bribes, and that there was a demand on those players to ensure Nichols State did not cover the point spread in the game, and, quote, the scheme succeeded. This is the type of thing that can be destabilizing for sports and for college basketball overall.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because, I mean, I didn't grow up in this country, but everyone that I know took part in doing a March Madness bracket. It's just part of culture. And I just wonder if we're hearing it all, Scott, and I know it's in the early hours here in early minutes, but this must be infuriating for people who support the sport.
Yeah, and let me just say, many incredible Canadian players in U.S. college sports, especially in the Northeastern schools. Just wanted to get that out there. One of the things the NCAA has been pushing on, they've been trying to press either regulators or the industry to dial back this prop betting industry that exists, where you can go to the sports book, if you'd like, or the casino, and bet $100 that Johnny Smith, the point guard, is going to miss his first free throw. You can make bets like that in America, that this guy will make 3 shots or he'll miss 3 shots. That type of prop betting can contaminate individual players and therefore infect the game and infect the sport as well. They want to get rid of that. This is a little different. This is point spread betting, which is, I'm sorry, as old as sport itself. Not sure the NCAA wants to end that, but this mix of sports gambling, amateurs or college athletes put together can be a dangerous stew, at least according to what's been charged today.
Okay, Scott MacFarlane, thanks for bringing us that breaking news. I know you'll be on the press conference that will get underway in about 45 minutes, so we'll learn more then. Thank you so much.